I need the sheriff. Brian, would you come up here, please? Heck with you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, if we could have your attention, please, we would like to get started. We welcome you here tonight. What a great opportunity it's been to be able to rub shoulders with you so far this evening, and I look forward to more socializing with all of you. I am Brian Wolf. I am the chair of the Vail Alumni Association. We have a great evening planned. Of course, we'll have a meal, but most of all, we get to honor some very distinguished alumni. And we'll hear more from each of them later tonight. But the people that we are honoring tonight have gone far above and beyond what often people do. So the Vail Alumni, thanks to this event, we are able to raise some proceeds, and all of the money that comes from this event then goes into the pockets of graduating seniors from the Vail High School. So to date, there has been $156,550 and that has been given to 134 students. So with your applaud, really you are applauding yourselves, because without you, we are not able to give anything to these deserving students. And they have done great things with the money that has been given out to them. We look forward to a great night of fun and honoring the Hall of Fame. I'm going to call them heroes, if you will, tonight. And we will also try to make a little bit of money for those folks that will be graduating from Vail High School this year. Okay, yeah, not a little bit of money. We want to make a lot of money. And so, when you're bidding tonight, do not think of actual cash value. And remember, there is no friends at an auction. So it's okay to bid against somebody at your table. It's even okay to bid against your significant other. And if you're really brave, it's okay to bid against yourself. So just remember that that's what we're here for, other than, the foremost purpose is to honor our heroes, and then nextly to raise money for our graduating seniors. So with that, I don't want to wear my welcome. I'm being reminded of something. I don't know that folks listen to me better. So when it comes time when Mr. Jacobs, after Corey Mogg gives our invocation or blessing on the food, then we will go out and be served our meal. It's a buffet type style that'll be served to you. So, okay. So, this table, third. Okay. So the way we will start this, Mr. Bates Mr. Bates and his table will first go, and they will go out this door right over here. And they will go to their left, and then they'll come back in the door on the very west end of the building here. And then the butlers will go out. They will go out the same door and follow that line. So everybody on this, from the butler's table to the west or to my left, will go out this set of doors. And then the Butis table will go out this set of doors right here and come back in over here. And so everybody on my right will go out these doors and be served. Yeah, we can have security watch for people preparing. So, yeah, so okay. And so Jeff will give a further direction. One thing that I will say real quickly before I sit down, it was truly an honor to go and to ask these recipients or these heroes to accept the nominations this year. Every one of them was very humble, and it was almost like we had to talk them into accepting. Mr. Bob Butler, to quote him, he says, "This is a bad idea. There are people more deserving." And I don't think that I've ever disagreed with Mr. Butler until he said that. I can't think of anybody more deserving than Mr. Bates, Mr. Butler, and Bobby and Dennis Beaver. So thanks for being here, and we look forward to a great night.
Thank you, sir. So, real quick, before Corey comes up here, and he's reverent, I will not be the rest of the night. We're going to have some fun tonight. I'm all bouncy, jumpy. I feel like a big game starting. You know, there's 500 people on one team. Welcome to the Vikings Cardinal Corner for one night. I think what we'll have is Gene, you're the tailback. Okay? You're going to be the tailback tonight. Bob, you watch the referees, make sure they're not cheating. Dennis, you're the number one lineman. Bobby's going to take stats. All right. Okay. I was supposed to tell you, we have some time where you guys can go back over there to the silent auction. And since Brian already spoke, I think we'll just plan on having a really good time tonight. And Corey will come up and offer a blessing on the food. Corey, please.
Thank you, Jeff. Let us bow our heads. Lord, thanks us for giving us the opportunity tonight to come together to recognize some outstanding individuals. They have spent endless hours in our community and made a grateful impact. Lord, thanks for the people that have put this event together, spent so much time and effort to execute such a great event to benefit so many students. Lord, please pray, show thanks for how grateful we are to live in a country that we're able to do this. Please protect the women and the men across the country, domestically and abroad, that protect these freedoms for us and allow us to do events like this. Please bring peace to the areas in the world like Israel and Ukraine that are in constant war right now. And finally, please pass a special blessing on the Nichols family, the Aldred family, and the Como family for the recent passing of Melanie Aldred. Please give them a special blessing and help them through this difficult time. And final, bless us with Lord in these thy gifts that are about to receive and thy bounty through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Hello everyone. I am honored to be up here in front of all of you today. For those of you who do not know me, I would like to give a little background information on myself. I was raised in the Vail community, attending school in Vail from kindergarten through my senior year. Upon graduating from Vail High School, I went to Pendleton, Oregon, where I attended Blue Mountain Community College for 2 years. While at Blue Mountain, I played baseball my first year and was a member of the rodeo team during my second year. After receiving an Associate of Science degree from Blue Mountain, I decided I wanted to continue my education, but I wanted to work on my family's ranch as well. I found that Colorado State University's online program was a good fit for me, and I plan to graduate in the spring of 2024 with a bachelor's in agricultural business. This event is one that I think all different types of people within our community, whether it be profession, age, religion, or any other difference we may have, can come together and be proud of one thing, and that is our connection to Vail High School. As a fourth generation graduate of Vail High School on both sides of my family, I have a tremendous amount of pride in the education I've received. When I was first asked to give this speech, a poem I wrote for an English class when I was a high school student came to mind, and I would like to share it with you. Although this poem speaks to individuals who have influenced my life, as you listen, I would encourage you to think of Vail High School alumni who may have influenced your lives. And it's called Voices. As I walk down these halls, I hear voices. Voices telling me about all the risks and dangers of high school. Voices telling me what I should and shouldn't do. My great-grandpa Pete tells me how easy I have it, not having to do chores every day before school and having the luxury of driving my own rig. Grandpa Steve telling me to hurry home because there's lots of work to be done and not to waste any time. Grandma Mary whispering in my ear to always try my hardest in whatever I do, especially when it comes to impressing the girls. Grandpa Dan telling me to keep my grades up and leave it all out on the field, because someday I'm going to be a successful man. Uncle Tim making sure I know that life is a party and to not waste 1 second of it, just as he did when he was here. Uncle Greg giving me pointers on the football field and the basketball court, even though I know I'll never be a half the athlete he was. Aunt Tiffany letting me know to work hard and play harder, but not to let distractions get in the way of academics. My dad telling me to stay out of trouble and to stay focused and to leave my weekends open for moving cows. My mom making sure my GPA is high and telling me to behave myself and to set a good example for my little brothers and everyone around me. When I roam these halls, I hear voices. These voices have helped form the man I am and who I want to be. Tradition is something that never graduates. I will be reminded of this every time I step foot in the halls of Vail High School. Whether it be tomorrow or 20 years from now, I will always hear these voices. As I work towards finishing my college degree, I know that I have the support of not only my family, but I have support from so many of you. And just as when I was a high school student, I know that there are voices in the Vail community who continue to cheer me on as I work to achieve my goals. We are truly blessed to have the Vail High School Alumni Association in our community. When you look around this room, it is evident that the impact of being a Vail Viking extends beyond the 4 years as a student. Alumni and community members gather at this great event every year to raise money to provide scholarships for Vail High School graduates. As a Vail High School Alumni Association scholarship recipient in 2020, I have directly benefited from the dedication and generosity of each of you, and for that I am very grateful. Thank you.
Anybody recognize that guy? Hey, Lyndon, can I have that? Oh, he's there. It worked. Yeah, I'll get it. We'll make way. So I'm trying to get out of the way here. I got this tacky thing right here to stand up so you guys can see me. I didn't like standing there last year because I couldn't see you guys. I couldn't see you guys, so I'm going to stand here. I got my nephew back there. Hey, pay attention. Remember, water, here, and then here. So, let's talk about our 50-50 winner, Mr. Gene Bates. How about that? I am technologically advanced, I think. He wasn't supposed to be up there. So, here's what happened. This summer, I was working out in the yard. Whenever I'm working in the yard, I'm always thinking about who's going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, and I think a great deal about it. One day, I was going through the program with the Bates family and Mr. Gene. Big Gene is what I've always known him. And I was thinking, what can I say? What a stud back in the 50s, great athlete, great kids, great family. Moved to the wrong town. It's okay. We're forgiving him. Nonetheless, I thought I should call Mike. Mike and I were roommates in college. And I thought, no, I'm just going to go over to Bates' house. So I went over and I was looking at lawn. Wow, this lawn is great. I looked at it a little bit and think, well, they must have service. They must have somebody to do this lawn. They're in the 60s. So, I knock on the door 4 times. And finally I ring the doorbell and, hold on. Gene answers the door. Gene, I want to thank you because we sat down for an hour. And it's the first time I ever felt like I was in trouble. I want to thank you for that. Irene had been in the backyard. Gene had been in the front yard. They'd been doing their own yard work. And I was quite impressed, really I was. That was impressive. Irene had gone in to get cleaned up, and Gene and I were able to share a few minutes together, and Irene came out, looked as good as ever, and had a fantastic time visiting with you. Then sometimes I drive down the road and something comes to me, and this is what came to me. I thought, I want to be Dave. I'm just going to give the kids, Bob and Gene, I'm going to give them an assignment. And I'm going to let them do it. And then whatever comes back, that's what I'll say. Well, I thought I was just going to sit around, read the newspaper, get some snacks out of my desk, and do nothing. And then I get information from the Bates first. And I'm like, holy crap, I'll say. Let's see how technologically advanced I am. Oh, this is the Butler family. This is how it came back to me. Lewis, thank you. It's all, see how aligned it is? We got the pictures on the top. We've got the words on the bottom. Click, 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 click. Done. 20 minutes. Well, I asked them, I said, hey, would you guys give me a word that best describes your dad? And would you give me a picture that best describes that word? And then if you want to write some things down, I can use them to introduce your dads. And I give you till the 18th. And they all got back to me. But I wanted to show you the attorney's kids first. This is the principal's kids. Sorry, wrong button. This is the first time. So, there's some stuff, and I didn't know what the hell to do with it. Well, then I thought, Well, that's exactly how I would have done it, so I feel you, okay? Perfect. You guys did it great. It took me forever to get this thing lined out, but I think you're going to like the end of it, and I think you're going to like the end of this too. So we're doing this for the dads, okay? They're good dads. They're cool people. This is David's. All right, this is his. He jotted down a few notes. Okay, and Lewis, this is how he gave me the words, and that's the pictures. And then here's Mike. He says, okay, I'm doing all right. Nothing's changed 35 years. Sure, neither one of us turned in their homework until the last day. You're right, man. You're right. You know what? I just finished. It's about 6:30, so I get you. I'm with you guys. Congratulations to you folks. I'm with you guys, okay? It was fun. We got some pictures, though. Got some pictures of the man and his family. On the left, these pictures came back to me like this. I'm just like, screw it. I'm not going to straighten them. I don't even know how. So, what was interesting about it, however, was I'll start with the right. So I almost called my dad, and I'm like, Dad, Gene and Bob have an older sister? You know, I'm like, I didn't know they had an older sister. I thought it was just Connie, the little sister, whom they lost years ago, and Bobby there in front, Gene, and then I thought they had an older sister that I hadn't heard of. And then Mike and Angie came back there, and I'm going, now who's this older sister? And Mike looks at me like, no, dummy, that's us. And so I'm like, it is? So over here, Connie, in front of Bobby. He was here a little while ago. We've got story. Elena, right? And then Gino in the middle. That's them. They're right here. And then they get a little bigger. Gino had a growth spurt. He is not the oldest. Elena is. And so they're equally aligned perfectly. Got the pretty mom and your stepdad. Here they are, much more like I remember them, I guess. So whose wedding? Jessica's wedding, Gino's daughter. Is that the only great-grandchild, too? No, there's more than that. No, their child. Jessica's child. There is? Jessica? Oh. So you're going to have 3 great-grandchildren. I can't add them. You know, I didn't go to Ontario. Okay. So I want you guys to notice the color. In honor of our Ontario friends, I did the best I could to find a little card. And then I also found a little bit of corn, the best I could. I didn't really care too much. I just tried. These are all the grandsons, but Elena says that her word was he's the mayor. He used to be the mayor, but now he's the mayor of the grandchildren. And if you look at all the grandchildren there's some pickets there in front. There's some bases in the back, tall ones. And then Angie, that must be you, and Josh, that must be a tall one in the back, huh? And over on the right, looks like Mike's. And Jessica is the girl there in the white dress, who's married, obviously. And then Irene looks awesome. And then Gene doesn't look like he feels very well. So, yeah, you know what? I'm not going to leave that picture up there. I'll back it up. Gene, that's terrible of me. I'm sorry. So, Elena shares a story in high school. So, imagine if you know where the Bateses live, over by Barry Mark. They live in a little kind of a cul-de-sac kind of a deal. And Elena goes to this high school party, and it's like right down the block. And Gene and Irene, they go to bed, and they're, what is all that noise down the street? Why are they making so much noise? It's so noisy. There's a party down the street. What's going on? And they lay there for a little while, and they're like, is that Elena's voice? So Mr. Bates goes over there. And it's like, oh no, Mr. Bates is here, the middle school principal, and everybody's still scared of him. They're like, what do we do? What do we do? Mr. Bates is here. He stops the party. You know, you can fill in the rest, but the reason I have this picture, that was the disappointment he felt that night. But then after I talked to Gene about it, he goes, no, I wasn't disappointed. I said, Leonard, why didn't you go to Willow Creek? Nobody ever gets caught out of those parties. Gino, he wrote a bunch, and he was, I guess if I can find it, it's in here somewhere, Gino. What'd you say, Gino? You said your dad's word was dedicated. Hey, I found it. This is what Gino says. He says, my dad has always been there for his family, friends, work colleagues, whether it was traveling to one of his children's events when we were younger, to following his grandchildren in their events. Our dad always enjoyed going and supporting his family. And he was instrumental in, tell me what it is again, the Bass Club. He was instrumental. They sent me a picture of that, which is not going to make it into the slideshow, but he's always been dedicated in everything he's done, and I'm sure that started in Vail when he was coached as a black and white Viking. I have a picture of that dedication. He is a great grandpa, a great grandfather, a great family man, a great husband, and that dedication has stuck with him for these 65 years. Good job. That's his family. That's Gino's family. And I thought this is the first great grandchild, though, correct? That's the second. Where the hell's the first one? Oh, Andrew's is over. Yeah, sorry. Tell Andrew I didn't get another picture of him. Okay. Mike, he said his word was accountability, or to keep yourself accountable. So I think this is right after Gene says, son, I'm going to teach you about accountability. I am going to drink 3 of these. You're going to drink 1. You're going to drive me home, and that's how you're going to learn about accountability. Hey, Mike wrote a lot, and I spell checked it for him. I'll make sure you get these. They're good. Then Angie and I graduated from in the same year from 2 different schools. She is short and sweet. She wants to get this thing over with, and she said the one word I would use to describe Dad is generous. But before I get into generous, Angie, let's go back to dedicate, or excuse me, your word, Mike, accountability. You know which grandson? What's his name? Michael. You know what he just said to Michael? He's like, I'm going to teach you about accountability too. You can catch all those fish. You're going to be accountable to clean them up too. And after he's like, what? So he was a good teacher always. But Angie, your word means this. What's your word, Angie? Generous. He always liked generous dessert, correct? Very generous man. Very lovable man. You guys were lucky. I'm not going to say much more because I want him to get up here, but let's talk about the real Hall of Famer there on the left, huh? How many years have you been married, Irene? 63 years. That's fantastic. Good for you. You know, had there been an NFL team with black and white colors, I'm sure John would have been drafted by then. So, I don't have any more to say. This guy says it enough on his daily excursion through this journey we call life. And I'm going to call him up here to accept his award. And Brian's going to give you that medal and that, where we have a trophy for him. I'm going to move this stuff out of the way, and you're going to come up and give us a few words, if you wouldn't mind, Mr. Bates. He said on behalf of the Vail alumni, he would like to present this. How high do you want to go, Gene?
That's funny. I could have pages to go after what he had to say, but I don't have. I just want to thank the Alumni Association for its great honor. You know, when I look around and I look at who's accompanied on this thing with Butlers, Budises, when I go back, you know, their families played a role in my life. Bob Butler handled all of our legal affairs with my parents and so forth. I saw him when he probably was first born in Dale. And his dad hired me to work at the old brick factory, 90 cents an hour for a week, maybe 2 weeks. Then raised it up to $1. But the old brick factory was a slave place, but it gave us a little bit of money to buy down to the drugstore. But down there you could get a root beer float for 15 cents. Not anymore, but you could then, you know. Budises, his dad had the drugstore, started it. There was no doctors in town, but my brother Bob and I both made business down there doing cuts, so forth. Joe sewed us up. You know, so the doctor wasn't around, but Joe took care of it. So, you know, both families played a role in my life. I'll best go on to say then that the school was my springboard. You know, the people that went to school there, the students, the teachers, the coaches were phenomenal. Dr. Wassel, Jerry Cameron, those guys played a big role in my life. Dr. played a big role in my wife and my life together. But, you know, that's, can't say enough about the school because, you know, the athletic thing came along. I participated in it, and I was able to do well. We ended up getting college scholarship to Oregon State, which then went on to fulfill a kid's dream for life, not to play professional baseball. I did that for 3 years. And I looked around and I said, no, you might have been good in Vail, but when you look at all these kids coming from down south, you gotta go home and get your education. If you're not going too far. And so, I married my wife, Diane. We only went together for 6 years before we got married. And boxed her up, said, let's go, we're headed home. She was in total shock. We headed back to school in Eastern Oregon, graduated, come out and decided, you know, the thing I really wanted to do all along anyway was to teach and to coach, work with kids. And I did it, and I think that I look at it every day and I see students that I've had, teachers that I've worked with, been phenomenal. The best year of my life was working with the kids that was in the classroom, you know. There's some that aren't easy to work with, but there's a good kids down deep. But anyway, I enjoyed it, and you know, I had one, he kept from paying. I got to tell you the story. When I was a senior, there were 3 of us that was going to go to Oregon State, possibly make a visit Oregon State football program. Gerald Swift, who has a memorial at the high school right now, who was shot down, lost in layoffs or Vietnam, one of those two, pilot, and John Wilcox. And John went on, and so you forget about John because of Dave. But John also played for the Philadelphia Eagles, and 1 year of professional football. They won the championship. They were champions. They drove all the way back to attend our wedding. What kind of guy he was. But anyway, we show up. They're going to fly us out of Boise. Now we're from Vail. Now we're talking about the airport. In Boise, hell, that's bigger than Vail. So there's three of us getting on that plane. And none of us had been on the plane before. It was petrified, might say. Well, he said, we put us in our seat. We sat there just like angels, which we were. Anyway, didn't know what to do. The gals come by, I don't know if we want something to drink or to eat. No. So we didn't. We get to Portland, and there's a guy waiting for us. Oh, okay. So we go there and he said, "Now, you guys hungry?" Well, hell yeah, we were hungry. I said, I'm going to take his lunch. We're going to go to the Multnomah Athletic Club. So they've got a great luncheon there going on down. It's a smorgasbord. Yeah. What in the hell is a smorgasbord? We hadn't even read about one, let alone been to one, So we get there, and the guy climbed up and he said, just get you, take whatever you want and as much as you want. He said, just grab one of those trays and just go down to the front. So, okay, I do. Those guys, go ahead. So I go first. And of course, those big trays like this. So I put a slide over there, and then there's the taste of the gravy in it, and I grab one corner, and I pour the gravy over the top of it, And the guy said, hold. He said, you put plates on the tray, and you fill the plates. Well, anyway, so later on in the year, I ended up going to school in Oregon State, and I'm in a fraternity that has a social with the sorority club. And was meeting the sorority, and it happened to be a girl, Mary Glenn from Vail, who was in the sorority, or fraternity, or sorority, excuse me. So anyway, and several guys from Ontario was in the fraternity. So this social, they go up there, and someone introduces the people around, and this gal says, "Oh, you're Gene Bates, aren't you?" "Yeah, yes, I am." "Yeah, my dad took you to lunch in Portland." Guys, I thought, all those gals had a hell of a good laugh on that one. They told me about that one. But anyway, coming from Vail, you didn't have a whole lot of experience, but you had a wonderful background of good people, a strong community behind you, and we really had a great life in Vail. Thank you.
Gene, you want him to see this thing next year? Dave, can you guys hear me? Dave, I don't think they can hear me. Turn me up a little, would you please? Test. That's better. Okay. Now that Mr. Bates is inducted into the Hall of Fame, let's talk about Mr. Butler. And, technical difficulties. Hold on. Let me go here. There we go. Oh man, come on now. I thought I already sent it to myself. let's not do that. Help me. I like it right there. It's the first time I've ever done this. Now let's talk about, no. That is not Mr. Butler drinking wine. I can tell he's never had a beard. Okay, so let's not do that. Let's do something else. How about you guys turn your heads and talk to one another here for just a second while I... Yeah, we'll go. Come on, pressure. Oh, no, it's not there. Where did I put that thing? Right here? I named it. That's not it either. That's some new stuff I've never seen before. Oh, I know what I did. Aha! There we go. Oh. Now I'm on track. No, I'm not. Oh, I know what I'll do. How about this? If I go here, and then I go here. How about that? Whew. That is Sandy. That's the Hall of Famer in the household, right? We're really glad you're here, Sandy. Give a round of applause for Sandy, will you? Sandy and Bob graduated with Bill and Denny Jacobs, and they were classmates the whole time, right? So I've known, you know me for 56 years, I suppose. So we've visited many times, but where Bob caught my attention, he taught me seminary. Sorry, Bob, I don't go anymore. But what an orator. He was the first guy that, when he spoke, I listened. I don't remember any of it because I have bad brain, but you were a great speaker. You taught me a lot. I listened very carefully, and I think that was the start to my academic career. I started listening, and I thought, wow, you can learn a lot if you listen. So, I thank you for that. That was big. So, of course, they had 6 children, 5 of which are here tonight. And let me show you a quick picture here. Whoa. Looking good, huh? You guys remember Perry Mason? Who was that blonde guy that worked with Perry Mason? That was the first thing that came to my mind. Huh? David had a picture. And when I got it, I just went, wow. I mean, you can't see Bob. He's on the left there. But when I read David's, I copied and pasted it, and I put it on my computer, and it said we had to rebuild a BAM. I don't know what a BAM is, and so I kept reading, and it's like, we had to cut the BAM in half, and we had to do this with the BAM, and I'm just like, man, those lawyers are smart. I don't even know what a BAM is. I'm just like, I gotta find out what a BAM is now. And then I looked at it, I go, I think that's a barn. And I'm like, I know what a barn is. Yeah. Okay. I'm not stupid. So this was the day they decided they were going to take an old barn. They were going to either have to tear it down, or they were going to, they wanted to move it because they wanted to build a new one. And David's word, of course, was dependable. And they got the job done, according to David, because his dad was there. And he was a very dependable person. So David, I appreciate your story. I couldn't go through it all, but it was very interesting to learn about BAMs. Greg is number 2 son and child. He gave me this picture, and his word was integrity. His dad has integrity. And he says, in this photo you see a man, his dog, and his favorite string. But I was trying to figure out, okay, integrity. He says, this is my father working and playing with integrity, working and focusing upstream while keeping distractions or dogs at bay downstream. He says, I'd like to publicly thank our father for teaching us how to navigate the river of life, dogs and all, with integrity. That's number 2, son Greg. I'll get to number 3 in just a little bit. But we have Sasha, correct? Sasha's word was, tell me what it was. Crack up. Hey, Sasha. Sasha. Kate. Sasha. Crack up is 2 words. Oh, the hyphen? Lawyer kid. Sasha says, and I took this story, she said, this is great. Dad does not believe in wasting time or in leisure activities or most leisure activities. Our family has never purchased walnuts from a grocery store because of this. If he is watching a football game, he is cracking walnuts. If he is camping, he is cracking walnuts. If we are on a trip and there's 30 minutes between activities, he is cracking walnuts. We have all learned that if you want to have a great visit with Dad, you need to have a walnut cracker in your hands and help out, even the grandkids. They have learned this fine art, and Sasha says, my daughter Lexi will not eat a walnut, but she sure does like spending time with Grandpa cracking them. She finishes with, I truly love and appreciate my wonderful crack up of a father who has been by my side in the funny and the frantic parts of my life. Thank you, Pop, for teaching me how to work and how to laugh. Kate. Oh, thank you. See? Oh, he's a crack up. I teach PD. I don't use this technology. Okay, so now Sasha. Greg, let's guess. You know what? I'm gonna go Jared. Jared and I graduated in 1985 together, and as you can see down at the bottom, the podium's not in the way. He was our class clown, and he was a good-looking kid, and I'm out of order. So, no, that's Lewis. He's the youngest. That's not Lewis? Yeah, I do that. This is Kate's picture. Kate, come up here, would you? Well, tell me the story here. Is that the whole family? You're on the Oregon coast. They've been taking pictures of that route decades. 5 of their children, 4 spouses, and half of the grandkids all went to the coast and got a picture by the route. And that is because your word is diligent. I had it right there, but I wanted you to say it. Your daddy is diligent. So let's see what slide comes up next. Lewis, is that you? Thank you. I'm just going to tell this story, okay? I'm not going to read anything. Lewis served in, he's like the smartest guy ever, you know? And I remember he had him in class, and I'm like, Lewis, I'm sorry that I'm not smarter than you, but I'm trying my hardest, you know? So, he was deployed quite a bit, and his wife and children were lucky enough to have Bob and Sandy stay at their house while he was deployed. And this is, in your word, Lewis, selfless. He took care of the grandkids and probably loved it. And Lewis is very, very grateful that his mom and dad were able to help with the grandkids and his wife. And I'm sure his wife was very, very much appreciative of that as well. So that's selfless. That's a good one. I sounded it out and I can say it. This is your one child? You're the only one that got 2 pictures. Well, you're the youngest, too. There's Jared. Initiation. You remember that, anybody? So, Greg, my second son, he cut my hair. I don't know if you remember that or not, Greg. Yes, yes. Yeah, I look worse than Jared. Let's see what comes up next. Oh, you know, I looked through the angles, I'm like, Jared must have skipped a lot of school. Because I did not see a lot of pictures of Jared. And I saw a lot of pictures of, not pictures. So, if Jared was here today, I think you could probably relate to him. According to Kate, she says you're attractive. Sasha. Jared was attractive. Jared was a riot. And I can only imagine being his dad. And I'm just like, he probably had like 5 words. Like, am I going to get in trouble again? That's probably what he said. But I'll bet inside, Bob, he was probably a lot of fun. And he probably, when he got in trouble, he probably didn't want to, he thought, that was pretty good. But he was a great kid, and he had a great future. We lost him to but I wanted to recognize him for Bob. So, I don't know. I think I have more pictures, maybe. No, I don't. So, I'm going to make this short and sweet, and I really appreciate you guys giving me these pictures. If I was better at this, I would be able to articulate a little bit better, but it's my first time doing it, and I have not done my best, but I know that you're going to pick up the slack, Bob. You're a great orator, and I want to welcome you up here. Bob Butler, Hall of Famer.
Thank you. It was a trip down memory lane to listen to Gene talk about Joe and Thelma Butis. What he said is exactly right. Great pioneers, great people in the community. He didn't talk about Fat Bates, and many of you say, what are you talking about? But that was his dad's nickname. Nobody knew his name except his name was Fat Bates, and he ran the Bates service down there. And wonderful people, great people, just wonderful people.
Kathy, how are you?
That and Devar Bates were part of the community that helped to raise these people we're talking about. And we have great memories of them. I'm pleased to have my family that's here with us today. It's a wonderful blessing. I appreciate Jeff mentioning son Jared. He died at the age of 19 many years ago. And as a result of an accident, and we miss him, but at the same time, it's a great pleasure to have our 5 living children here with us and their spouses today. That's one of the things that really I pay great tribute to, is the fact that I have such a wonderful, loving family, a life that is so sweet and dedicated and committed, and these children who not only love their mom and dad, but they love each other, which is unusual in some instances. And it's a pleasure to have them here. I also, a table full of my legal associates. Cliff Looney and I will have been in the practice of law together 54 years next January. And we're just... Just like a brother to me. I love Cliff and Pat, and they're wonderful people and been a great influence in my life. And the fortunate part of it is that my oldest son and my youngest son now practice law with me, and that's a wonderful blessing to have both of those sons there, and Dustin, whose name is not what you have on your program. It's actually Martinson. And we appreciate him. He's a workhorse. He's the guy that does all the work in the firm. Dustin does. So it's been a blessing to have that association for many years. The other thing that I got to give credit to is the greatest class of Vail Union High School, and that's a class of 1961. I don't think there's a better class of students. This group love each other. We have had reunions every year for every 5 years since we graduated from high school, and our exchange student, Bruce Mühlhauser, attended all of those reunions from Germany, except this last one that we had, and that's because he'd been there just the year before, as he said goodbye to Ray Hartman. But this is a great class, and we're very close. In the last few years, we have spent each year we have an annual gathering, and any of the class members that are alive and available and able, they come and we get together and have lunch and swap lies and try to remember who we are and why we're there. But this is a great group. I have great love and appreciation for those members of the class of 1961. And what Gina said is true. It's a community effort. And when Brian came to tell me, and I said, what did I say, Brian? This is a bad idea. I still think it's a bad idea because there's a huge amount of people that put huge amounts of time and effort. You go to community activities, you have lots and lots of people that are there that are donating their time and their resources and so forth. And that's a great blessing for us to live in a community like that in all these areas around here. Now, Lewis asked me to share one memory. And I go way back into the early 70s when I was on the Vail City Council for a while. And I think, I know Tom Gray was on the council with me, and there were others that were on the council. And, what was his name? That was the city manager. Howard Ego. Anyhow, when I first went on the city council, I knew that they had to approve liquor licenses for all of the businesses to have a liquor license, and I thought it was just some perfunctory thing that they did automatically and we didn't have to do anything about. But I discovered that the council voted on these liquor licenses, and I also discovered that Tom Gray voted no. And I thought, by golly, if Tom Gray can vote no on the liquor license, I'll vote no with him. And so Howard had to work out an arrangement to make sure that he had at least 2 people on the council at that meeting if he was going to approve a liquor license, or otherwise it wasn't going to get approved. And it was a job adjusting back and forth with the people, the members of the council, to make sure that he had a quorum so that he could pass the liquor licenses. That happened as long as Tom and I were on the council together. But anyhow, I appreciate this. It's a humbling honor to be recognized in this position, and I express my appreciation to each of you, and look forward to continuing additional years. Gene's a little older than me, but and Dennis is a little younger, but we're going to hang in there and keep doing what we need to do as best we can. And thank you so very much.
Bill, Dennis, Bobby, I'm just going to push some buttons. I'm going to see what happens, and I'm just going to talk about the pictures. So, let's see what happens. Oh, there she is. This was about early 80s. This is when I met Bobby. And what a great smile. Look at those eyes, those big old eyes. And she was in charge of the whole school and the office aides. And I remember in 1983, I don't even remember the conversation, but I was able to identify as one of the office girls. And Bobby and I have been, I would say, friends ever since. I'm sitting on her lap. And Be a lawsuit today, but you know, everything's fine. Bobby and I have enjoyed a lot of conversations, and she's a very dedicated person. And you know what, Bobby? I love you. And this guy does too. Whoa. I'm like scared of that picture. Uncle Ron gave me that picture, and he gave me this one too. Dennis is on the left. And when I first looked at it, I'm like, man, that guy looks like Clark Kent. And then I was informed that this was the inspiration for the television show back in the 70s, late 60s. It was Batman and Robin. Sorry, Ron. So I hope that this slide pops up next. It didn't. So I'm going to talk about this slide right here. So I asked 4 Hall of Famers, Doug Mogg. Now you guys can say, yeah, I recognize Doug Mogg. So Doug Mogg and his wife, Terry, who's also a Hall of Famer because if Doug is, Terry is. And Dwight and Carlene Keller in 2021, correct, Doug? You were inducted in 2021. And Dwight and Carlene were inducted in 2022 last year. I asked them for some words that would best describe Dennis and Bobby. And it was crazy. I wish you guys could see this. It's probably on the next slide, but I'm afraid to push it. Both of them put the very first word, dedicated. I know how to do like tables and stuff. So the next one was perfectionist. That's what Doug and Terry said. And Dwight and Carlene said it a little bit differently, but the same thing, extremely thorough. Then Doug and Terry wrote generous, and Dwight and Carlene said compassionate. And then the third and fourth one that Doug and Terry had said was honest and caring. And I just think the Kellers just summed those up with the one word compassionate. Humble, warm, and so focused on the events tonight, and they're both Vikings is what they said. So from one Hall of Famer couple to the other, I think they're welcoming you to the club. So, how you guys doing with public speaking? Dennis, Bobby, are you nervous? Well, I got an idea. Can you, Dennis, can you come up here? We'll go up there. Yeah, come on up. We'll have you go first. We haven't inducted him yet. I mean, you can clap for him, but he's not a Hall of Famer yet, crying out loud. So I don't know if they kept secrets from each other, but I got a hold of both of them. I said, hey, don't tell Bobby. I said, but I need you to jot down some words that would best describe Bobby and why she's a Hall of Famer. And he did, and then I called Bobby and said, hey, Bobby, write down some words about this, why you're a Hall of Famer, and she did. And I don't care if you knew or not, but why I want you here, and I'm going to give you this microphone, we're just going to share it. Dennis wrote these words, and he's going to say the word, and then if I'm going to say, well, why did you say that? And then it's, maybe he'll say, I got it, Jeff, and he'll go. And if he doesn't, I'll just keep asking you questions. So what's number one, Dennis?
Best friend.
Why?
Because she picked me.
You don't need me up here, do you? Number two is?
She's very caring and thoughtful.
Why?
She loves her cats.
I guess he's emceeing next year. Then he says, number 3, this is a long one.
Everything has to be perfect in business. She edits everything that before I send it out.
Why?
I'm a shitty speller.
Don't feel bad. I asked her how to spell a word tonight. I said, Melissa helps me, so I understand. So, how about number 4? Now, are you sure you want to use that word?
Memory like an elephant. She never forgets.
Never forgets anything. Let's just leave it at that. And why is she number 5? I'm going to give you the mic.
A great partner in life. She's put up with a lot of stuff for me, and she handled it very, very well. I'm done.
You are done, and we'll see you up here in just a little bit. Thank you. Bobby. See, we're going to get you over this fear of public speaking. And then you and Dennis are going to MC it together with Gene and Bob. How you doing, Bobby? You look great. Welcome. So, Bobby says this about Dennis.
Dedicated in anything he is involved in.
Enough said. What else is he?
Hardworking and always has been. When we first got married, he had a full-time job for Larry Tuttle, and Dennis took
Did I spell that wrong?
jobs, sideline jobs that Larry offered him to make extra money.
And number 3?
Always thinks of others before thinking of himself.
That's why he's a Hall of Famer, huh? Okay, what about number 4?
Always thinking of ways to support Vale High School and the community of Vale.
I agree. And number 5?
Has a real passion for the Vale Alumni Association.
Sounds familiar. Number 6?
He's very dedicated to our business and the customers we serve.
And finally?
He's a very loving person.
Very nicely written. We'll have you back up for the real stuff. Let's look at some more pictures. So we're just gonna roll with it, all right? So this is Dennis. This is how Dennis relaxes. Glass of wine, sitting easy, all is well. The job is there when I get there tomorrow. This is Bobby relaxing. There's 2 beers there that have hardly been touched, Bobby. So she's, I'm sure, thinking about the business, or likely the Hall of Fame, next year and next year and next year. What do you know? I didn't mention this, but Terry and Doug had said they're fair weather golfers, and I really like this picture because they're in Hawaii apparently, right? Where we got Hang Loose, right? There's 3 of them there, this, and then Doug, he's like, I gotta sell those onions. So that's why they get along so well, you know. Terry and Dennis, they just like, let's go have some fun. And those 2 worry all the time. So it works out well for this couple. So, I don't know if you know this or not, but this is at the end of a 10-mile hike, I'm sure, because they can't sit still. That looks like maybe late 80s, early 90s maybe, huh? Early 90s? This is Bobby, and I imagine it's probably 2 weeks after the alumni dinner, probably, right? This is the only time she gets to relax. She actually posed. And then, they've never met a stranger. They talked to this blue guy for a half hour. But when I saw this picture, it reminded me of who they really are, and they're hardworking. And this is the epitome of Dennis and Bobby. And we're lucky to have them lead the charge with Brian on this alumni get together every year. And we're so appreciative of your work and your dedication. And we just really like you. You're good people. Okay? So now you're on your own. You want to come up together? Come on up. Let's welcome our new Hall of Famers, Dennis and Bobby Hughes.
Before I give my thank you for this honor, I want to recognize one very special person by the name of Jeff Jacobs, who has helped us out 5 of our 6 years at this event. And he is a major, and I mean major player when it comes to this event. Let's show Jeff how much we appreciate him. First, we would like to thank Doug, Terry, Corey, Mandy, Kimmy, Mog, and Gert DeLong for nominating us for this honor. Also, I would like to thank Bob Crawford, who is here tonight, and Merle Saunders, who is not here tonight, for nominating me personally for this honor as well. Congratulations to both Bob and Jean. It is a real honor to share this evening with the two of you. We are overwhelmed with gratitude to have our contributions be recognized in this way. Thank you all for taking the time to share this evening with us and supporting our efforts to make this evening what it has become. Go Vikings!
Well, Bobby said I was a man of the family and I had to wear my pants tonight. But she picked them out. So that's all I'm going to say.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are very grateful for the time that you've spent here with us tonight. I would like to thank Jeff for the great job that he does. If we could give him a round of applause. And if we could give our three honorees another hand. I said three, I realize there's four, but when you go to school, sometimes math is a challenge. Or go to school and fail, sometimes math is a challenge. So we really appreciate each and every one of you for being here and for taking time out of your busy schedules to spend the evening with us. We hope that you will have safe travels, and we appreciate all that you do for the Vail Alumni Association. So thanks so much for being here.